Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing with you a card I created for the Altenew Inspiration Challenge. You can find the photo and the inspiration photo and the link onto my blog. And it's basically you just create a card based on the photo inspiration. So colors, shapes, and things like that. So I decided to use my Altenew Layered Lily stamp set because I just really like that stamp set, and I used my Altenew Crisp inks because I thought it was fitting for Altenew challenge. And I mean, they work really well with that layering stamp set anyway. So it was match made in heaven. So I've stamped for quite a while, and I did actually get this on, but my homemade stamping tool is really great for that because it always stamps in the same place. So it's really good, and I think it saves time. I mean, considering that you don't have to actually, lay it with your eye and stuff, I think it does actually save time. It's a long process because I decided to stamp the image 6 times and then the leaves and so on. So I tried to kind of edit the video and trim so that it's not too long for you and not too boring. But I always find it quite nice to see all the layers appear and build up on the top of each other. So I think it's quite cool. Anyway, I've once I was done with the flowers, I decided to place some masks. It's masks I had from my previous cards. The black one is made with post-it note, all over sticky post-it note, and the other one is made with masking paper, and the name is just keeping me. It's Inkadinkado masking paper. I don't know if there's a bit more to it than that. It's not working that great for that kind of stamped images. I think I've said it before. I find the post-it note works much better for that. I mean, I like Inkadinkado masking paper for like ink blending, and you cut out a big shape out of it, but you can still do like really good ink blending. But for small images and when you stamp something that has a lot of ink, the paper just warps and it doesn't work that great. So post-it note for me on this one. Then I decided to add a layer on vellum. I wanted to kind of create, that circle thing by adding some depth, but also some inlays. And the idea was to get some circles out of the background, put them at the front, but have the vellum on the rest of the card, so it was the colors were kind of muted. And I started doing that and doing the die cutting, and it was quite late at night, and if it wasn't I would have realized I was doing something silly. I had nowhere to hide the glue. I did even consider putting a frame all around it to hide vellum, but that still wouldn't work for the pieces in the middle. And then even if you put a few sequins, the vellum wouldn't be attached perfectly, and it would still go, it would have got, well, eventually something would go wrong. So I decided to ditch the vellum. It was just not a good idea. If nobody did it before, it's for a reason. So I decided to just do a jigsaw puzzle with my card and put it back together onto a piece of Nina Solot white. And I mean, I actually quite like that because it's quite fun in a way. I mean, it took me a while because some of the pieces were tiny, and I did actually lose one piece that I found eventually. But it was actually quite fun. So I just put all my pieces. What I did at first, I just put a lot of roll-on glue onto my Nina Solo white card, and I glued onto that. And then for the tinier pieces, I actually did use some matte multimedium, and I think it worked better. I had die cut the word celebrate, which is a paper smooches die. Die, sorry. And I've kept the words off because I wanted to add some depth there. So I've cut the word celebrate off some thin foam, which I will inlay into that gap, and then I will place the word celebrate on the top of it. And same thing, the word celebrate is kind of in pieces, but I got all the pieces, so I put it back together, and that was fine. So that's, it took a while, but I got there eventually. Then I decided to cut a frame anyway, because I thought it would be nice to add some dimension. So the whole idea was to keep my image whole while adding some depth. So although I placed a frame, I wanted the frame to be the same, the pieces of my main card. I hope you understand what I mean. So here I place the word celebrate, I put some glue, matte multimedium again, and on the top I place my celebrate word back on the top of it, and I really like, it looks really good because when you replace it, it matches perfectly the stamped images, and I think that's quite cool. And then I will place my frame all around it, and it's stitched frame from my favorite things, if I recall correctly. And it's really cool frame. Obviously it's American size, so I will trim my card in the end when I'm all done. But you know, it looks nice, so I'll make it work. If someone think about doing A6 styles, it would be great. So here I had the little piece that was missing for me from earlier. And then I decided to add a bit of shading, obviously. I don't know if you watch my cards, you will know that I do like adding shading. So I use my cool grey markers, C3, C1, and the 0. And I just had a hint of shading, not too much, because it's still, you know, pastel colors and quite girly and stuff. So I didn't want to add too much depth. I did half of it off camera. And then I'm correcting the few mistakes I've done along the way. And one thing that I feel like I need to remind you, you may have forgotten or you might not know, when you stamp repeatedly on post-it note or masking paper, whatever you're using, it sucks up the ink and eventually will go through, which it did with that purple flower in the middle. So you do need to you can either check from time to time and see, you know, you turn your paper around and you see how much you see the ink through. If you see too much, it's not right. And then you probably need to cut another mask, really. And the risk is that the ink will go through, and then, for example, I ended up with some grain on my purple, so it's not that great. So then, in order to create that depth effect on my circle dies, or cut off circles, yeah, I used a glitter pen, and that is actually really pretty. And then I put some glossy accent on it, and I know some of you will laugh because you know how much I like my glossy accent, and you can't see it right now because it's wet and it's not the right light, but when it catches the right light, once it's dry, when it catches the right light with the glitter under, it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I really like it. It looks really cool. You will see the photos at the end, and if you want to see the close-up, please head over to my blog and you can see it better. I try to get the right angle when I was taking the photo. So I hope you like it. I'm actually really pleased with the result. I was a bit worried at some point, but I'm really pleased with the result. So thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to pop over to my blog or Instagram, and have a great day. Bye!